Hello everyone, welcome to Titan Sports, the show where we provide you with the latest news about Cal State Fullerton sports and beyond. I'm Colin Costigan.
Hey everybody, I'm Sergio Gonzalez.
What's up, Titan Sports fans? I'm Justin Rosette.
And I'm Jonathan Mansour. We have quite the lineup of stories today, so let's jump right into it.
In Cal State Fullerton softball news, the latest series that our Titans participated in was against the UC Davis Aggies here at Anderson Family Field. Game 1 was a tense showdown in which, after the 6th inning, the crowd was left wondering who would break the 3-3 tie. In the build-up to that point, a hit by Titan Sarah Perez at the bottom of the 3rd inning allowed both Colby McClinton and Kate Veerhoff to score and put the Titans in the lead. UC Davis, however, would respond with their run in the 4th inning, though Cal State Fullerton was quick to return the favor. 2 more runs in the 6th inning by UC Davis tied the game, which would end up being a 12-inning game. After about 4 hours of gameplay and incredible pitching by Leanna Garcia to hold off the Aggies, Natalie Lozano doubled to right center, which allowed Kate Veerhoff to win and earn a victory for Cal State Fullerton. This momentum carried on into Game 2, where 14 batters in the 1st inning led to an early 11-0 lead for the Titans and a victory by the 5th inning. Game 3 was yet another exciting matchup, where both teams were tied at 3 by the end of the 6th inning, just like in Game 1. The Titans made their way onto the scoreboard at the bottom of the 1st inning via a double by freshman Natalie Lozano, which allowed Sarah Perez to score. UC Davis found its way past strong Titan pitching and defense in the 3rd inning, where Aggies' Kayla Macias hit a 3 RBI hit, putting them in the lead 3-1. Though this wouldn't be enough to hold back the Titans' offense, which sealed the deal at the bottom of the 7th inning to finalize the series sweep. So guys, we had a very busy weekend in softball, including a game that went 4 hours as we talked about. What are your guys' overall takeaway from the sweep over UC Davis?
I think first things first, you mentioned her. I think we got to give her a shout out. Leanna Garcia completely held it down this weekend. 13 scoreless innings. And in the first game, it was started by Trisha McCleskey, who set a career high in strikeouts as well. But also, Leanna Garcia, she's not expecting the game to go 12 innings, and all of a sudden she's thrown out there for 5 innings, scoreless. After that, we're starting a game at 10:30 p.m. on a Friday night, 5 innings scoreless, on top of an offense that's been doing crazy good. And you mentioned like Lozano, Perez, RC, they've all been stepping up. Overall, I mean, 10 straight wins. We love to see it.
We're seeing Garcia's in her best form of the season so far. And in a weekend where Natalie Lozano and Ava RC didn't technically have like the biggest weekends, the team was still able to rattle off wins. It was a collective effort on offense. And if we look at the stats, the Big West, they're the only team batting over 300. Ava RC and Natalie Lozano have been great in the 3-4 spot. They're batting both over 400. And I'm very curious to see how they play against. I would love for them to play against UCSB again. They swept us earlier in the year. I really think we could take them down if we played them again. I really think that weekend where we faced them was just a fluke.
I mean, really on both ends. I mean, even like in terms of the series itself, like hitting itself wasn't like spectacular, but it was a good team effort. I mean, the only notable players, obviously there was quite a few, but like Lozano went 4 for 11, had 4 RBIs in the series. She has a team-leading average at 408, which is also good for second in the Big West. But also Ava Arce, she went 3 for 8 in the series, but she did have 3 RBIs across those 3 hits. She now has a team-leading 51 RBIs, so this actually, she's chasing history. She's tied 3rd all-time by a Titan in a single season, so she's already surpassed her former teammate Hannah Becerra, who set that mark with 47 RBIs in the 2021 season. But she's now just 8 RBIs shy of tying the record, which was set by the player development assistant coach, Jenny Topping. So, I mean, she's getting to work. She had the record, I believe, in the 2001 season. She had 59 RBIs. So she's well on her way to getting that mark, and I would not be surprised if she passed. And you talked about Leanna Garcia as well. You mentioned the 13 innings. I just want to focus on the first 2 games alone. I mean, she comes in game 2 for the last 5 innings, allows just 1 hit, walks 2, strikes out 7. And she currently has a scoreless innings pitch streak of 23 straight innings. So she's just been dominant. And out of the 8 of her 9 outings this year, where she's gone at least 5 innings, she's recorded a minimum of 5 strikeouts. So, I mean, she's punching batters out and going the distance. And then she had to come right back around and pitch another solid 5 innings. She just allowed 1 hit in game 2, 2 walks, and 7. So, yeah, those are the stats of her first game. I got the stats a little flipped around. But the first game, she allowed just 3 hits and had 8 strikeouts. So the stats I initially mentioned were for game 2. But across the boards, all the Titans are clicking right now.
Yeah, I think going off what you guys said, early in the season, the hitting was always there. They've been first in hitting in the Big West pretty much the whole season. The only problem was the pitching, and now that they got the pitching together, it's looking scary for the other Big West teams. Leanna Garcia, Trisha McCleskey, and Eva Hurtado are all top 10 in the Big West in strikeouts. And so with this team firing on all cylinders, I think, Jonathan, like you pointed to, UC Santa Barbara, in that series, they allowed 32 runs. And the other series they lost this year, they allowed 17 runs against Hawaii. Other than that, the most runs they've allowed in a Big West series is 6 from the whole weekend. So overall, I think they're clicking at the right time, and I look forward to seeing if we can potentially get a matchup against Hawaii or UC Santa Barbara in the Big West playoffs.
Yeah, and then real quick, I've kind of hammered on this early in previous shows, but the shutout opponent games by our pitching has been insane. 9 of our last 16 games, the opponents have put up donuts. Impressive.
You love to see it.
The rivalry between Cal State Fullerton and Long Beach State was on full display last week, where our men's baseball team won 2 of 3 games to claim the series victory. The series opener saw both teams tied at 4-4 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. With Carter Johnson on second, Matthew Bardwell was able to bring him home with a ground ball and an error from the Dirtbags. This run put the Titans in the lead at 5-4 and solidified the victory for Game 1. Long Beach State would not give up the series that easily, however. Game 2 started off with an early run for Fullerton in the first inning, but after a massive 4 runs in the 3rd inning, Long Beach continued to score, resulting in an 8-2 lead going into the 9th inning in the final stretch. The Titans attempted a comeback, scoring an additional 3 runs, but it was a little too late to overcome the massive deficit between the two. This marked a loss for the Titans and put the series at 1-1. With 1 game apiece, the series finale was more tense than usual. It started off with Long Beach pulling ahead with 2 early runs, and a response from Fullerton with 4 runs of their own in the next inning. From there, the game's pace slowed down as Long Beach ever so slightly came back, tying the game 4-4. Fullerton responded by bringing home Bardwell with a sacrifice fly from Jacob Sharp. The winning run was made by Maddox Lotta's double to bring home Johnstone, ending the game 6-4 and taking the series 2-1. After the break, we will dive into the big highlight where Sergio will break down some of the most important plays that occurred during the series against Long Beach. Stay tuned.
Question about
Welcome back, Titans sports fans. This weekend, our Titans baseball team gave us a thrilling 3-game series against Long Beach State, where they came out on top over the rivals in 2 of 3 games. Starting us off in the first game was sophomore Cam Burdick, swapping an RBI single to the left side, giving the Titans a 1-0 lead here in the 4th inning. They had the bases loaded. They took advantage, as they would do so later on in the game, as Eli Lopez comes up in the 5th inning and does the exact same thing. You see that here with an RBI single through the left side, putting the Titans up 3-0. However, they would not score any more runs in this series in this inning, and the Beach would make things interesting here in the 6th. They would tack 2 runs on, but shortstop Maddox Lotta said no more to that. He makes a nice sliding play here, stops the damage for the Titans, much needed as the bullpen was getting shaky, and Eli Lopez does his thing once again with another RBI single, his 2nd of the game. However, the Titans would make things interesting. Beach would tie it 4-4, but the Titans would take the lead on an RBI error in the 8th and winning Game 1. Moving on to Game 2, the Titans are down 8-1. Things got a little bit sad here, but Johnstone hits an RBI single to cut the deficit, but the Titans would make things interesting late, making a bit of a rally at the very end, but it would fall just short as they would fall 8-5. Moving on to Game 3, the rubber match of the series, Isaiah Gomez does exactly what the Titans have done all series and hitting with runners in scoring position. He would put the Titans just in reach of the 2-1 deficit, and Maddox Slaughter would tie things up right then and there in the second inning. The Titans just keep showing their resilience and fight, and we love to see that. Coming up here is none other than Maddox Slaughter once again with another RBI single, this time to the left center gap, and giving the Titans a much-needed insurance run of 6-4, giving us 3 big booms as well, and giving the Titans a series win over Long Beach State. We wish the Titans baseball the best going forward, and we'd love to see them coming out on top and beating the Beach. All right, guys, so the Titans grinded out a very, very gritty series win and coming out on top, winning 2 of 3 over Long Beach. Much needed, and now we sit in 3rd place in the Big West standings. I just wanted to ask you guys, what are your guys' takes from this weekend and going forward? I know the Titans have been heating up offensively in the bullpen. Though it's a little bit shaky, they've been starting to figure things out. What do you guys like so far?
I think you got to start with pitching as first, obviously. I feel like a lot of the season we've been talking about how pitching has been kind of their thorn in their side. It has been what's holding them back, and they've been so much better of late. And I also want to give a shout out to Andrew Wright. I mean, he's only allowed 7 hits. He's the main closer for this Titans pitching staff, really. He's only allowed 7 hits in his last 12 1/3 innings pitched, just 1 earned run and 17 strikeouts during that span as well. He has just a .93 ERA on the season, and he's tied for second in the Big West with 6 saves. So he's been absolutely dominant, closing out games for Cal State Fullerton. He was very good in the 3 innings that he faced against the Beach. And I think that was just really impressive as well. So I think for number one, you just got to highlight the pitching.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the offensive side. Carter Johnson really was the only Titan that kind of had a big weekend. 6 hits, 2 RBIs over the weekend. Other than that, it was a very collective offensive effort by the whole team, which we love to see. They're a top 3 offense in the Big West. Andrew Kirshner, he kind of slowed down. He just came off a 5-game homer streak where he matched 7 in that stretch. Kind of want to go back to the bullpen. You mentioned how the bullpen was a little bit iffy. I really wonder if it is because of having that one true starting pitcher. We're using a lot of arms, and we don't have one pitcher other than Micah Negre that can pitch us deep into games. Also, one last thing from me is in their lone loss this weekend in the Game 2 series, the Titans committed 2 errors. I know this was something that we harped on earlier in the year. I wonder if those two errors led to 2 runs. I wonder if those errors, if the
You're good.
You go, Justin.
Okay. So, Sergio, going back to what you were saying in your big highlight, I think the biggest takeaway for me was the resiliency and the clutchness of the offense this weekend. We talked a lot about the pitching. As you said, it's been a lot better. But for me, I think it was the hitting. In Game 1, the game was tied in the 8th inning before a couple clutch hits was able to give us the win. Game 2 was a loss, but as you mentioned, in the 8th and 9th inning, they scored 4 runs. They almost had to come back. There was almost a walk-off grand slam. I would have went crazy if that happened, but couldn't get it. They lost the game, but the resiliency, they showed fight, especially against your rival. I feel like you have to show fight. You can't go outside against Long Beach, and they showed a lot of fight. And also in Game 3, the game was tied in the 5th, and they scored 2 more runs and didn't allow any, which allowed them to win that game. So the clutch and timely hitting over the weekend, I think, was the biggest takeaway. And also another thing, the first 4 batters in this lineup, Carter Johnstone, Maddox Slaughter, and Matthew Bardwell are all top 10 in the Big West in batting average. And also Kirshner, in his first year in Cal State Fullerton, is first in the Big West in RBI. So what a lethal group for any pitcher to have to go up against. In that game when they almost came back, those 4 came up, and they were this close to making the comeback happen. So in the Big West playoffs, those 4 are going to be the key. They contributed to 8 out of the 15 RBI for the team over the weekend. So that top 4 in the Titans lineup is going to be tough to go up against for any pitcher. So as long as those guys are there and also Negretti's doing his thing, I think we have a chance to beat anybody in the Big West playoffs.
That offense being great is huge, especially when the pitching, quoted by Jason Dietrich, has been inconsistent all season. Bullpen this past series has been great. They ate 5 innings in the Game 2. They ate 7 innings in Game 3. But at the end of the day, you don't want your bullpen eating that many games. Dylan Smith has started some of the last few games for the Titans. He's only gone 5 innings just once this season. You mentioned Micah Negretti. He can go the distance, but he's just about our only guy who can. Another guy, Jason Kurkowski, he's had 5 starts this year, but he's only maxed out at 2.1 innings pitched in a game. So obviously, on the starter side, things have not been too pretty. The bullpen, though, hasn't been too bad. They've picked up some of the slack, and obviously with the offense thriving, offense can also win games. Defense does, but offense, if it tops off, they'll win games for us.
And I feel like another thing, we've been highlighting players, obviously Carter Johnson we were mentioning. You mentioned not a lot of people, Jonathan, at least this series, a lot of batters really got it going. But Maddox Lotta did have a good series. He went 4 for 12 and 2 RBIs, so he currently has a 30-game on-base streak. So that goes all the way back to their first matchup back on February 25th when they played USC. That's when that streak started. And entering this series, he was just 2 for his last 16. So the hitting wasn't great for him, so it was nice to see him have a really good series where he was able to bat like about the 1 for 3 mark, which is what all the great hitters do. And then obviously pitching, I've mentioned it before, was so good in this series. 15 walks the entire series, which isn't their lowest mark in a 3-game series, but you go back to Oregon State, who obviously is a top program. They were number 8 in the nation. They gave up 26 walks in those 3 games. That was the highest by far. They'd given up 18 walks in 2 other series. One of those was a 4-game series against Stanford, so that was even an extra game as well. So pitching improved a lot over those previous marks. So I feel like those are also people we need to a little bit highlight too as well as they're going further into Big West play and they get closer to hopefully the Big West playoffs as just the top 5 teams make it.
And we are hosting it, so hopefully we can do some damage.
The home environment will be very big for the Titans. Mm-hmm. The women's tennis team ended the regular season strong with a win against UC Riverside 6-1. The day started off with the doubles point going to Fullerton, as the number 2 doubles spot was won by Caitlin Taylor and Seha Yu 6-0. The point was locked in after the number 1 pairing with Sean Myung and Milena Gevorgyan, and the number 3 pairing with Masha Nikitash and Diana Yanatovskaya, finished with the same winning score 6-2. In singles play, Carrington Hayes continued the momentum, winning her number 6 spot game 6-2 and 6-0. Shortly after, Yu would take her game in a similar fashion, winning 6-2 and 6-0. With Fullerton being up 3-0, and the final nail in the coffin came from Nikitash, as the number 4 singles ended with her win 6-2, 6-2. The rest of the singles games were also taken by Fullerton, with the exception of the number 3 point going to the Highlanders. Another achievement for San Myung, as her 7-5 and 6-1 win in the number 1 singles spot marks a perfect 9-0 run in conference play. All right, guys, so obviously this is a big win for women's tennis. They had a little bit of a rough stretch on that road trip where they went 1-3 against some very tough Big West opponents, but we have the Big West tournament coming up. I want to get your guys' thoughts of this team as we're about to just days away from this tournament.
I think one thing in particular is that this team is experienced. You have Sammy Young, Seha Yu, Diana Yaratovskaya, and Nikitash as well, who they've all been here before. And the Titans last year, they made things very interesting in going to the championship and just narrowly losing 4-3. So we can make damage, and although we're only the 7th seed out of 10, it's not the prettiest, but I think we can do some damage. First off, I want to start with some shout-outs. And Sammy Young, as I mentioned, she went 14-4 in singles games over the season, winning her last 11. It's huge. Seha Yu as well. She's 10-6 overall, 6-3 in Big West. I think those two are going to be super key, as well as Milena Gevorgyan in the pairing with Sammy Young in doubles, where those two have gone 8-5.
Yeah, Sergio, you mentioned shout-outs. I wanted to give a shout-out as well to Masha Nikitash and Caitlin Taylor, who both had their senior nights the other day, and they both dominated and got victories in singles and doubles. So big salute to them. They both have been Titans their whole careers. They stayed. They didn't go anywhere. So big salute to them. They had a very strong win against UCR. Me and you, Colin, we were calling that game, and we mentioned that they had to handle business early because UC Riverside hasn't won a. I'll let you bring up that stat, but that they have not had a good season.
Go ahead, you could say it.
Okay, UC Riverside hadn't won a conference game since 2009, I believe.
Yes.
Since we were all wearing diapers back in those days, and they haven't won a conference match since then. So the fact that they came out and handled business, and also is going to give them a good boost going forward into the playoffs, where they're going to be going up against CSUN, who beat the Titans 5-2 a couple weeks ago. So they'll look to get their lick back against CSUN on Thursday. So we'll see. Last year they were a 6 seed and made it to the championship. So this year they'll try to repeat history as a 7 seed this time. So we'll see if they can do it.
How does UC Riverside still have a women's tennis program?
That's what I'm saying.
What?
I don't know.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, you guys mentioned it all. Taylor and you, they're going to have to be continue their dominance in doubles. And Gevorgyan and Myung, they started off the season very hot and they cooled off. They finished the year on a 2-game winning streak together. Hopefully that can carry into the match against CSUN in the first round of the Big West.
Mm-hmm. In the world of professional sports, the 2025 NBA playoffs has been dominating the headlines with exciting matchups for round 1. Among the more notable games was Game 1 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies, where the former put a whopping 51 points between them and their opponent by the end, setting a record for the largest margin of victory in Game 1 history. Over to a more local team, the Los Angeles Lakers couldn't ride the momentum provided by Luka Doncic in the first quarter of Game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. With Minnesota knocking down threes and LeBron not playing up to par, the game concluded with a 117-95 victory for the Timberwolves. All right, guys, so we're just freshly into the playoffs. I mean, we're only one game in. It's the first round. We can't get too concerned here. I just want to...
Why would you be concerned?
1 second. No. Things have not been pretty for the Lakers, but it was one game after all. There's a whole lot of series left. There's a whole lot of exciting series to watch. What are your guys' takes for this first round of the NBA playoffs?
I'm curious to hear what you have to say. So go, please.
Well, I think we should get to me last. Let's get all the other stuff.
He
out
always
of the
has to
way
go
first,
last.
but-
All right, Justin.
Okay, I'll go first. So before I'm a Lakers fan. Before we get to that, I'll talk about my favorite series. There's only been one game, but the best game I saw so far was the Clippers versus the Nuggets. That game won. That was an electric game. I think my prediction for the series was Clippers are going to win in 7 games. And after that, I don't know how it's looking right now, but obviously a star-studded game from James Harden. Kawhi had a great game. Russell Westbrook had his moments where it's like turn the ball over or the one shot at the end of the fourth quarter, but he had a great game. He had, I don't know exact stats, but he had a good game as well. The Nuggets are up 1-0. I'm looking forward to see what happens in that series. But now to get to the Lakers. The Lakers lost. It was bad. I turned the game off once they got to the third quarter. But the only thing that's giving me hope right now, Julius Randle shot 4 for 6 from 3. He is not like that. Jaden McDaniels, that dude was probably like flipping burgers or something 2 years ago. He shot 11 for 13 and 3 for 3 from 3. That's not happening ever again.
How many points?
And also not 20-something?
25.
25. It's not happening again. It hasn't happened. And then also Naz Reid was 6 for 9 from 3. The fact that they shot that well, of course they won. The Lakers also didn't play well. LeBron didn't have a great game. Nobody played well besides Luka. So with that being said, I think we're still the better team. I still have faith in my team to beat the Timberwolves, but I definitely put us on notice. I mean, Colin was telling us the Timberwolves are going to be a good matchup. I still agree. I still say Lakers in 5, maybe 6 at this point, but I don't think the Timberwolves can do that, can sustain it the whole series.
This guy out of here.
Lakers in 5 is tough. I can see it 6, but hopefully 5. I'm a Laker fan. As a Laker fan, I think I have the right to say LeBron was checked out in that first quarter. He didn't get himself into a rhythm until like late in the second quarter. He needs to assert himself early. I know Luka had an amazing first quarter. You don't want to throw off his rhythm because he was taking charge, but LeBron has to assert dominance. And Reeves, his first half was not well at all. He rebounded in the second half, but it was just too late. One thing I'm very interested is Jackson Hayes only had 8 minutes. You're playing against Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, and Julius Randle. Those are 3 bigs. Jackson Hayes, I think, needs to have a boost in minutes in Game 2. I'm very curious to see the switches that JJ Redick makes in Game 2. And one last thing is, it left my brain.
8 minutes?
8 minutes. Only 8 minutes.
Did he play that bad in those 8 minutes?
No,
I don't think so. I saw he had some rebounds. I think he had a couple points, but I don't know. But
I will just say, I feel like I will get into the Lakers in just a minute, but I feel like there's a lot of exciting series going on right now. I think first off, we're going to have to shout out the Boston Celtics. I mean, they played a little bit sluggish in that first half, but really locked it in. I mean, when Jason Tatum can only score 17 points on, 8 of 22 shooting, and you could still win by 17, Derek White, I guess going bald is the way to go. I mean, maybe that's why I should have just buzzed my hair even more than it already is, but it's like he had 30 points. I think it's just insane what Boston is able to do. I see them based on, I'll get some predictions in just a second, but they should easily clear the Magic in the first round.
I think they get 2.
I think that you're crazy. But I think the Nuggets and Clippers should be probably the most exciting series from what I've seen so far. I mean, that game was back and forth. I mean, you could tell both teams really want it. I really don't think either of those teams are reaching the finals, though. I feel like both of them had way too many missed opportunities. They both had chances to really get ahead of each other and just didn't do it. You can't do that against teams like the Thunder later on in the round. So I feel like that, and I mean, speaking of the Thunder, how dominant were they? I mean, 51 points. I mean, they pressed RB to throw that grenade back from Ja Morant, right? You think that celebration's crazy? I mean, they just threw that grenade right back at him, and it blew up in their face. So it's
embarrassing for the Grizzlies.
It's embarrassing. They're going to get bounced. I'll give them 1 game. I feel like there might be 1 game where the Thunder are just too young, but I feel like they'll take that series. So this is where it's going to get a little heated because I'm outnumbered here. I got 3 Lakers fans. I've got a LeBron hater who's still a Laker fan, but and then I've got 2 Lapookies over here. I've got to handle both of this. I said it from the get-go that I felt like the Timberwolves were going to be your toughest first-round matchup. I've been saying this forever, and I've got to say it right here, right now. And you guys can read it across the boards. Lakers, alligators, radiators, give me tomater, don't matter. Timberwolves in 7 games. I don't care what you say. I've been saying that from the get-go. I've got Kava on the line from this guy, and then my other friend, I have a triple dipper on the line. So, I don't need to be gaining any more weight, but I will gladly take it if that means that my bets worked. I've been saying it. The Timberwolves are such a good team. They had such a good defense last year. Their defense has fallen off a little bit, but, they were so good in that first game. I don't think you're right. I think you guys are right. They're not going to keep shooting like that. I might even give the Lakers the next 2 games. But I still, from what I'm seeing right now, I'm taking Timberwolves. And I'm going to give you my bold prediction for the finals. I got the Timberwolves going all the way to the finals. They will lose in 6 games, though, to the Boston Celtics.
Justin, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's
this guy's a Kings fan, right?
Oh, yeah. What
Who
happened
did
what happened to the Kings last week?
You can throw it all.
They lost, right, in the play-in?
Did they? Is that right,
Did they
Jonathan?
lose? Didn't?
Dude,
They did.
Colin, you kind of mentioned. I think it was Colin who mentioned before the show. DeMar DeRozan showed more defense.
Yeah, he did. At a sushi bar, he did.
Wait. But we're not talking about the team. We're not talking about the Kings. We're talking about the team the Kings lost to. A team that is willingly giving their franchise and fan base away, losing statues by the second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not looking
And
good.
who lost to them?
The Kings.
Sacramento Kings.
Badly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here's
No
the thing.
beat.
I accepted the defeat by
a lot
the
of
second
injuries
quarter.
on that team, too.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Wait, you're telling me it wasn't close?
No, it was
In
not
the
even
second
close.
quarter, really? Oh.
Man.
To be fair, the Lakers game against the Timberwolves in Game 1 wasn't close in the second half at all.
Wow.
No.
I mean, they got it down to like 14 points, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
And at the end of the third, but that was it.
I mean, if only the Kings had a home game, dude. The
I know,
fans
right?
would have gone crazy out there, man. They go
Yeah,
crazy for
as
those
NBA
fucking games.
fans, we love to overreact. The Timberwolves did go crazy game 1, but I think the Lakers will get it back tied up game 2, and we'll see what we have to say next week on the show. Either I'm not going to show up next week because you got swept or something, or we'll see. But
I can't wait till I'm right. I do have a parlay on tonight's game with the Knicks and Pistons. I'm
Gamble responsibly.
going to be a lot richer next week, and the Timberwolves are going to be in a much better spot
Please
next week.
gamble responsibly.
we'll see.
Real quick. Everyone saying the Pacers can't beat the Bucks is insane. Giannis
No, I agree with
basically
you.
did everything that whole game, and they still lost by double digits.
2 words,
yeah.
Damian Lillard.
Okay. And one last thing, shout out to Ty Jerome.
Who even is that?
All right, that about wraps up everything we got for you this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please give us a follow on Instagram and X at TitanTVCSUF and on TikTok at TitanTV_CSUF. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of
Titan Sports.